Guess what day it is today? So you already knew I made meatballs, which means I have plenty of Carmines breadcrumbs. I've got some Romano cheese, and you see I've got 11 clams here in this pan. It's perfect that they all fit in the pan. One of them was broken, so this guy we're not going to use. We're going to throw him away because he's dead and we don't want shellfish poisoning. So I'm going to take these clams out of here because I need to shuck them. Okay, now before we get into that, let's take a look at the knives. Okay, this is for oysters. We're not using that today. This is the very first clam knife I ever purchased. It's made in France. It's a very nice knife. It works, but it's not as good as these two. And between these two, my favorite is this one. The blade is slightly longer. You can see there's a little bit of flex in the blade, but this one is the one I have most success with when I'm cutting these clams open. And since I'm not a professional, you know, sometimes I'm just not successful, but we're going to give it a rip. So I'm going to just use the cloth to make sure that I don't cut myself. I'm going to take if you see how the curve of the shell is that way, this is the small end. I'm going to try to wedge my knife between the shell just right there. And you see how I didn't even put any pressure. You see how the shell is crumbling already, right? I'm going to now try to wedge it in there. You see how I broke it a little bit. Sometimes I'm totally unsuccessful opening these things. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm going to try to get the knife right in between that crack there. Put a little pressure, and you see how I got it wedge in, right? That's perfect. Sometimes I'm just not successful, right? And you see how I've just opened it, and now peel off that top shell. And I'm going to cut under the muscle, and that's going to be clam number 1. Not bad, right? I'll try another one. And again, I'm not a professional at this. I don't do it all that often. See how I just shaved off the shell? That's not good. See if I can get it wedged in between. Try another one. Now the clams that I'm not successful opening, I'm just going to bake them. Here, that one. That one worked. See it? Peel off the top. I don't know which is the top and the bottom. Remember, I'm a lefty, so I'm doing it the opposite of probably almost everybody else that does this. Right? My top is their bottom, but there it is. So I've got 2 done. Okay, I'm going to stop the video now, and we'll pick it up when we've got them all done. All right, so you see I've got them all done, and sometimes, like I said, they're difficult. I'm not able to get this one to open, and what I'll do when I can't get it to go the way I normally cut them is I'll just go to the back muscle here. And usually I can be successful going in that way. And there it is. So there are my 11 clams, because one of them was broken when I bought it. It was in the bag and you couldn't see all of them in the bag. Okay, So next step, let's stop the video for right now. Alrighty, now what I really like about using the pan like this, a lot of times the restaurants will do the same thing. They'll put the full dozen clams in like a cast iron skillet. This way they serve you the whole skillet. You see that all that clam juice in the bottom of the pan? That's gonna make a nice sauce, but we're still gonna add some clam juice. But basically I'm just gonna pour a little bit of clam juice into each shell. Okay, and then we're going to hit them with the Carmines breadcrumbs. These breadcrumbs are magical. I mean, they work for everything. I'm going to put breadcrumbs on top of every clam. And you see they're spilling over. That's okay, because when we're done with this, we're going to sprinkle a little garlic in that pan, and all of that is going to make a sauce that you're going to want to sop up with some bread. So it's not just, right? It looks like I'm being sloppy here, but I'm really not. Okay. Okay, so I've pressed some breadcrumbs into each clam. Some spilled over. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit more. And then I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of cheese on top. And like I said, this is gonna bake at 400 degrees. And we're going to throw a little garlic in that pan, this garlic. And the sauce is pretty much just as exciting as the clams themselves. I don't think the oven's hot enough yet, so I can't throw them in yet. But I can get the dish ready to throw them in. Okay, so that's it. No more cheese. And now you see this garlic? I'm just going to throw it around the clams in the dish. And that's all going to bake together and make a wonderful sauce. Okay, so all I need to do now is wait for the oven to get hot enough. So before I put these in the oven, there's one thing I neglected to show you, and that is I'm going to drizzle a tiny bit of olive oil on top of each of these. You can imagine that little bit of olive oil. It's going to blend with some of that garlic. You know what's going to happen. This. Oh, there's my oven. That means it's time to put them in. This is an exercise in deliciousness. Let's see. Can I do this? Let's see. There's the oven. Here they go. About 15 minutes is all we need. 15 minutes and they're going to be unbelievable. Alrighty, so one of the things I didn't say is, yeah, we baked them for 15 minutes or so, and then the last 2 or 3 minutes, they were under the broiler. You see how nicely the breadcrumbs are browned? Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to put them in that broiler. I'm going to put them in for another minute. I think they need another minute. I would like to see all of them a little more brown. All right. So there's a fine line between golden brown and burnt, and I don't want to burn them. See how some of these are a little darker, but they're all golden. I think this is good. And I've got my lemon wedges, and I've got some sliced up ciabatta. And you can see, hold on, you can see how there's a little sauce in the bottom there, but it's pretty much all dried up. Remember all that liquid that was down there? You see how it's all thickened? That is great for dipping. Oh my God, let me zoom out a bit. Okay, here we go. So there's my bread, there's my lemons. Let's get a picture of that. And I gotta tell you, these are fantastic. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of places that do them just as well. You know, I don't think I've ever been to an Italian restaurant that didn't have good baked clams, but I never knew how to do it until I looked through the pages of this book and saw how easy it was. So enjoy. So there it is, plated. I just put 3 on a plate just to make it look pretty. And I promise you these won't last but 30 seconds.